I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business Renovator. I'm your host, Coach Phil. Today I'm excited to talk about one thing that's really passionate for me, and that is our success is brought to us by our thoughts and how we act on it. So the title for today, Success is Brought to You by the Thoughts That You Act On. What are your thoughts bringing you today? But before I do that, a couple of housekeeping things to do, and that is, if you're watching this live, thank you for being with us today, this afternoon, tomorrow, if you're in Australia. And we appreciate you being here. And if you're here live today, great. If you have a question or comment, put it into the chat in the community, in the social media platform that you're on, and we'll respond to it as soon as we can. If you have a question for us because you're watching us on the replay, go #replay. Let us know where you're watching in from, and put your question in the chat. We'll get back to you as fast as we can. And if you wouldn't mind doing us a huge favor, and that would be to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Business Renovator, on YouTube. That'd be terrific. And the last but not least is to have some fun and share this out if you get some value with it. At the end of today's session, you'll have an opportunity to have a gift. You can have it from either myself or my esteemed guest, but we'll get to that in a minute. I've got a shameless plug for my sponsor, me, and here it goes. Yeah, so if you'd like to check in and see what you are in your business, certainly reach out to me or my esteemed guest. She's also a focal point coach. We'll provide you with the contact information later on in the show. But there's no credit card required. It's easy to do. You go to our website, click on a button on the top right-hand corner, download the assessment, complete it, and go from there. If you want to have a conversation with either one of us, we'd be happy to have a complimentary coaching session with you. No strings attached. And if you're okay with the assessment and you're happy with the results, there's nothing else to do. So today is all about success and our thoughts. So success is brought to you by the thoughts that you act on. We talked about that. My guest and myself came up with that. That's one thing she's really passionate about, is that thoughts are everything. Everything starts with a thought. If I was to hold up my iPhone right here, this was first an idea in somebody's mind, and now we're using this like it's a mainframe computer, probably more powerful. And all started with a thought. So my guest is also, as I mentioned, a certified focal point business coach and executive coach. She works with entrepreneurs who want to get 10 times more out of their business and their life. She is an expert in leadership, management, operations, business development, and finance. She is a people person and loves to share her motivation, passion, and drive with her clients. She helps entrepreneurs become the best versions of themselves. Prior to joining Focal Point, Nourhen was the financial director of ECE, project management, property management company for shopping centers in Germany. At ECE, Nourhen was instrumental in increasing profit by changing strategies and reducing costs. She also actively participated in making pricing and cost decisions and evaluated the monetary impact of various proposals. She's a graduate of the University of Hamburg. Nourhen sees this life as an adventure, and she loves it. She loves enjoying it to the deepest levels. She also loves dancing, traveling, and She wants to inspire other people. That's why we're here today, to talk about things like thoughts and action. So, Nourhen, I'm bringing you on right now. There you are. Welcome to the Business Renovator. Appreciate you being here.
Good morning, Phil. Thank you for having me. And thank you, everyone out there.
Look at this. You said there was people popping in from Germany to listen to you on the Business Renovator. There is the first comment for today. You want to say hi?
Hi, Yasmin. My sister, Yasmin.
Oh, terrific. That's what I like about this platform. I came across it because of the, our thoughts, at least my thoughts changed when we had the pandemic start. Couldn't go out and see people anymore. And I do not like making cold calls. So what do I do to grow my business? I change my thinking so I get different results. And this is my 300 and some odd episode of the Business Renovator. And that all came out of a thought. So why was thoughts so important for you? We talked about this and you lit up when we talked about this before the show.
Absolutely. So it's actually something I got into it through my own experience, where I was asking myself why I'm not getting where I want to be. So by working so hard and trying different things, at the end of the day, what was terrific for me, it was my thoughts. And what happens? My thoughts created my emotions, and my emotions created my actions. So when I started to change the initial thought, I was able to see success.
Isn't that interesting, right? Are you familiar with Sean Aker? He's a psychologist, a positive psychologist.
No.
He's got a great TEDx video. He uses humor to teach us. But he says we're hardwired as humans. 75% of everything we do is on the negative side. And the reason for that is the programming, like before you and I were even born, it's transferred. I'm not quite sure how they do that, but running from saber-toothed tigers. So it's the amygdala, the thing that causes us to react to threats and harmful things. So 75% of the time we're thinking at the negative. So something I follow, they suggest that we have 3 positive thoughts for every one of those negative. So that's purposefully developing our mental fitness so that we can do what you're talking about. Success is brought by our thoughts. So what are we thinking about most of the time?
Absolutely. So the point is, even though I was hearing, think positive, be positive, go away and just I was doing it. But at some stage, I realized it's something way deeper. It's a belief system which was already created early age. So what I see is in between 0 and 7 years, we got the most programming of our brain. And this is something we carry about our life. And the thing is, and what makes me so passionate about this topic is, most of the time, you're not aware of it. So it's kind of, I was saying to myself, of course, I can do it and I will get there. I'm driven. I have the motivation. I have the passion. But something was just holding me back. And I was like, what's going on? It can't be. Like, I'm optimistic. I have the drive. I'm putting the work. But what is it what's stopping me? And this is something which is way deeper. It's programmed in the subconscious mind. And actually, I really agree, Phil, with you saying for every negative thought, put 3 thoughts. It's actually when we get the awareness of this negative thought or this negative belief, and we start to reprogram it. So in order to be powerful and to get to the point, we start to reprogram it. And this is actually, I totally agree what you were sharing.
I'm glad we're talking about this because one of the pillars of the Business Renovator is mental fitness. It used to be mindset, and mindset's important. But I am actually a mental fitness coach as part of what I do in my business renovator business coaching practice that I currently have. And the reason I got into that was much the same as you. Is I'm positive, I'm driven, but yet I see myself and others under living. And I'm all about helping people to live into their potential before they leave the physical plane and go wherever else your beliefs take you. But right here in the physical plane, what can we do to change it? So I'm going to put up I have a couple of banners here. These were not premeditated for this show, but they're significant to what I believe. So you and I believe, are in the BS business, not the other one where we use profanities, but in the believing it to see it first. If we don't believe it in our thoughts, we won't do the things to act towards moving there, like you were talking about. So we're in that business. And there's another cool formula here. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this or not. I times V equals R. So our imagination, that's where thoughts come from, creates our, and the more vivid we are, the more emotion, more feeling we have, whether it's positive or negative, equals our reality. So if we're not happy with our reality, what are we thinking about? What are we imagining? And how vivid are we painting the picture and turning on the emotions? So those are two things that really, it's a common theme that pop up on my show from time to time. When I have awesome guests like you, I bring them on and remind people about that.
Great. So I'm really surprised about the formula. I was using this when I started with my transformation, just to remind myself there is way more than the thoughts I'm creating on a conscious level.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and it's something I was asking myself why I'm not getting into this thought, which is maybe not serving me to the point where I want to be. And it's what I found out, it's related or it's linked to an emotion. And let's say this emotion is not a good one, not a positive one. So we tend to look away. So to admit, for example, one of the limiting beliefs, I'm not good enough, or I can't do it, or I'm not smart enough. So at the same time, if I admit to myself this belief, which was created at some stage, it makes something with me. So it makes me sad, it makes me unhappy, and this is something I was not striving for. So I was tending to look away, and this is absolutely, the formula is amazing, to just take the responsibility to look into it and to know that it's gonna change your life.
There's a number of books with that theme in there. I'm trying to, Dr. Wayne Dyer had one. If we change what we're thinking about, what we think about changes. Isn't that powerful? If we change what we're thinking about, what we think about changes.
Absolutely.
Isn't that incredibly powerful? It wasn't my idea, but I leverage it because it's a good one.
It is.
So what have you done to be able to get yourself to where you are? Because you've come from Germany, you've got a degree, you've done some really cool things, you were driven, like you're saying. And now you're living in a place that I only visit, and I love to visit. Can I say where you are?
Of course, yeah.
She's in San Diego, one of my favorite places in the U.S. to go. Doesn't get crazy hot and doesn't get cold, and it's got water and all sorts of interesting things to do and experience there. I did something that was kind of crazy fun. I did a Segway tour. I went to that park that starts with the beach on top of the hill. You go through Little Italy, and I can't remember,
Balboa Park, yes.
Yeah, that was nice on a Segway. That was kind of cool. And it was interesting to people say, "Well, you don't get much exercise riding one of those." I went, "No, but sure, a lot of fun."
It is, and the scenery and the harbor and the sunsets. So it's, for me, it's like, it's paradise. So living here, it's paradise.
One of my favorite places to go and rejuvenate my thinking and my thought processes is actually Mission Beach, where the wall is and the pelicans fly by and people walk by and the water's there, and it's just awesome.
Absolutely. I do the same, actually. I do the same. So when I catch up myself with thoughts which are not serving me, and then starting the process, I am like, okay, now I choose a place where I really feel good, and it's the beach for me as well. So
Cool. Another interesting things about what we're talking about is thoughts. And what's going through my head right now is I first ran into Brian Tracy when he was starting off, and he was still Canadian. Now he lives in the San Diego area as well. He's north of San Diego a little bit. And I was doing the studying of a book called Think and Grow Rich, because if you change what you think about, things you think about change. I hadn't heard that back then, but Think and Grow Rich has a number of chapters and principles on the power of our mind and what to do to be successful and how to program. Is it easy? Yes. Is it? No, it's not easy. Is it simple? Yes. It's that conditioning that you were talking about earlier holds us back in place. And one of the thoughts, crazy thoughts, went through my head was, geez, they were talking about auto suggestions, and I thought, well, what if you put some kind of like relaxing music and play that in the background, and then do your auto suggesting, which are affirmations or declarations as we refer to them today. I wonder if that would help. Well, I go to this thing, it's called the Phoenix Seminar. Brian Tracy's at the front of the room. It was his flagship program that launched his career in the personal development and leadership training, which you and I are certified to deliver his content to individuals to help them live to their full potential and stop under living. And the end of the first day, Nourhen, he said, okay, close your books, put your feet flat on the floor, put your back straight up in a chair. And he played a cassette, because that's how long ago this was. And it says, I like myself. I really like myself. I like myself. I really like myself. So guess what I do? I still use that today in what I do myself. And there's about a dozen affirmations that are done with some classical music in the background, which is kind of neat, because I had that thought, I wonder if that would help. Well, it does help imprint it, and I helps me change me, not just using Brian's auto suggestion declarations that he's saying to us with the music behind it, but I've taken that and made my own. And I've found that that's had a huge impact on me, wanting to change in areas that are important for me to make a difference. What have you done to help you do change?
absolutely, I see myself again. So for me, what was the most important thing I started with going through this process and kind of changing my belief system was the relationship I'm having to myself. And I used to hear your life is as good as your relationships. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, of course. If I have nice and inspiring relationships, I will feel better. But actually, the relationships we are having to other people and actually to everything else is a reflection of our inner world. So, in order for me to tap into my belief system and for in the beginning to get aware of it, it was okay, what is the relationship I'm having to myself? So it was funny. I was following um, a money coach back in Germany, and one of his suggestions to start implementing the right thoughts which serve us was the mirror exercise. So look into the mirror for 5 minutes and tell yourself, I love you, Nourhen. I'm like, that sounds really weird, but okay, I will do it. There should be a reason. Let's give it a try. And I'm an open person. So I did it, and it was so weird for me. It was like I couldn't look into the mirror the whole time. So I was looking to the side, looking back. I'm like, oh, this is really strange. So it should be, of course, I love myself. So, but then do I really love myself with everything inside me, with the weaknesses, with the strengths? And this was something I started to discover. So then I tapped into affirmations. It's something I regularly do, and I really recommend, even though the good thing about it, even though we don't believe it yet, it's just something we start to implement in our subconscious mind. And the affirmations I come up with are always based on how I'm feeling. So if if I'm doubting myself, so I reverse it to the positive and I start telling it myself. So, but actually, sometimes it's just like superficial and it's not going into the emotional side, where I discovered breath work for myself, which is really getting aligned with who we are, and also journaling. So I would say I have plenty of tools which I really recommend, which help me and which help my clients. But for me, it's affirmations, it's breath work, and journaling, because it has another effect. When we put our thoughts on paper, we really get into the point of reflecting it and being more aware of what we are thinking. And this is from there, from journaling, I am able to have the picture about what's going on, facing a new situation or a new challenge or overcoming fear, whatever situation we are facing in life.
You know what I like about what you're saying, particularly is the journaling. And I do journaling. When I was introduced to that concept a whole bunch of decades ago by another mentor of mine, and actually somebody who mentored Brian Tracy, I found out, but that's another story for another day. I have a fascination to figure out where the people I'm following came from and who mentored them. So I did that and found out that one of the mentors who was mentoring me also mentored Brian Tracy way back when. I'm going to actually have the guy who told me that story on as a guest. I'm going to invite him anyway. But what I like about what you're saying there with the journaling is I refer to it as reflective thinking journaling. And what I do is put page numbers and I timestamp it. And if there's a theme, maybe it's around sales or marketing, I have an index in the back, and I put it in the back, and I have the page number where it was, so that I can go, okay, I'm looking for something on marketing, or I'm looking for something on mindset. I can go back into that, or mental fitness, go back into my index at the back and look and see where I had that thought. And the other thing I really like about the reflective thinking is that I write all my thoughts there, the good, the bad, and the not so good, the ugly ones. And it's not something that I share with people because I'm brutally honest with myself. Like you were talking about, having a relationship with yourself is job one, and that's how we can have a better life, is have great relationships. We need to have a really good, well, we don't need to do anything, but it really makes sense to have a good relationship with ourselves. And what I like about what you brought up the journaling is that I've got a stack of journals. And if we go back and study them and devour what we've put in there, we can see the trends in our thinking, whether they're supporting us or not. And then we get to decide when we're making a declaration or affirmation to change it, or really, am I just thinking about some crap that's really not important and I can just throw it away, get rid of it, release it to the universe. So that's what I like about the reflective thinking process. I'm glad you brought that up. I haven't talked about that for a long time.
Yeah. And it's I also heard once, like from an energetical part, the paper absorbs, or how you're saying, throw it away. So it's also relieving. So for me, sometimes when I was focusing on getting to a point, I'm like, I don't have time for journaling. And I'm like, really? You don't want to put yourself first and do something good to yourself? Just sharing. Of course, we have friends and we have our beloved people around us, and sharing with them, but it's something different. So in this moment, we are just with ourselves, and we can be more authentic, because sometimes, as you say, we're saying like ugly thoughts, and it's kind of, oh my God, I feel embarrassed thinking like this. So, but I recognized I was thinking the whole time about myself. So, and once putting it on paper, it was, and I reflecting on my life was like, yeah, I was always living with this belief, and it's just not serving me. And it came up just through journaling. So it's really helpful.
And look at this. Denise agrees with us. Mindset is everything.
Everything. Absolutely.
It is absolutely everything. Did you see the time already? Sorry, we're almost out of time already. We could talk about this for, I don't know, a few more minutes.
I believe, yes, it's never ending because it's just who we are and it's just part of the human experience. And for me, getting to the point, um, do the inner work. It's more rewarding and it's more lasting. It's not a success we gain for short term. So if we build the foundation by putting the right beliefs into place, it's it's there. So of course we need to remind ourselves, and we are human beings and it's normal and we are living in duality. It's totally normal, but the foundation is there and we can build whatever we want to achieve on this solid foundation. And as you are saying, is it easy? No, it requires work, but for me it was better I put the work into my inner world instead of just putting the word externally and seeking for validation and for approval from outside. So putting the work for my inner world just gives me peace and happiness, and at the same time success will flow in.
Yeah, and it's not to say that our paths are without potholes or speed bumps just because you think differently. We still have all those, but it's how we respond to them that really makes a difference. I wanted to make sure people knew how to get connected to you. They can find me, the Business Renovator, on YouTube and other places, but here you are on LinkedIn.com. It's right there. This is actually what you'll be looking for, this particular page right here. Can't read the URL very well here. It's pretty small. So right at the bottom is the link. So if you want to connect with Nourhen and learn from her some more, by all means, go there and do that. There's another place, though, that you can go, and it's right here. This is her website. So at the top right-hand corner, same as my website, there's a gift for you, and it's get your business growth score. There's no credit card required. It's free. And if you want to have a conversation with Nourhen around your score, you could certainly set that up. And the same is true for me. We're both Focal Point, Brian Tracy certified business coaches and executive coaches. Do you have, I'm going to bring you back to the full size here. Push the right buttons. Look at that. I have the magic. Is there one thing that you would like to make sure that we share with the audience before we wrap this up today?
So based on our conversation and based on our mental fitness belief system, it's something really easy to keep in mind and to just have it in the back of our brain, going with us and living with us. It's the point of we are all human beings and we are always doing the best we can. And we all project. What does it mean? It's something humans do. We project our internal world outward. And this is how I created also kind of my personal concept by teaching and coaching. So when there is an obstacle, when there is this challenge, so let's go back and see where the root is. So it's actually the work to do for me, which I would give out, is it's inside out. And it leads you to a life which is more peaceful and also easier and flowing. This is my message.
Cool. I appreciate that that insight. Let's see, we have one comment here before we. Hey, it's my friend Kellen Fisher. Hello, Kellen. She's all the way from Georgia, Houston, Georgia. Thanks for being here, Kellen. Appreciate that. And Denise and everybody else that popped in today to listen to us share a few ideas around the topic of the mind, the power of the mind. Everything happens with thoughts. Thank you for being on the show, The Business Renovator. Appreciate your insights and your knowledge. We could probably talk half the day about this. Maybe we'll reschedule another episode later in the year in and around the similar topic, or maybe we'll pick something different. Would you be up for that, Nourhen?
Absolutely. I enjoyed our 30 minutes and it felt like 3 minutes. It's like it's unbelievable.
I know, it's crazy fast. When you do
Absolutely.
when you do what you love, life is awesome. So change what you're thinking about, and what you think about changes. Thank you, Dr. Wayne Dyer. If you'll just hang around, I'll be right back with you. But with the audience, I'm going to do something for them. I wrap up my show here, so just bear with me. I want to go and remind everybody that it's important to me for you to be aware of this particular word, wonderful. Notice the U, it's not an O, it's a U, wonderful. Why is that? Because it's representing you. You are wonderful, so, and unique. So continue being your unique, wonderful self. Control your thinking, and what are you looking forward to in your life? That's what I would ask you. One of the things that I know is true for me is that we have 10 saboteurs and 5 sages. So my other gift that I have for you guys today, let me just get the banner to show you what it looks like, is if you go to positiveintelligence.com/saboteurs, there's a complimentary assessment in there. Again, no credit card required. It's free. You can do it on your own. But I would caution you not to just do it on your own. Do the assessment on your own. Absolutely do that. But reach out. Let's have a 20-minute conversation. Let me explain to you what the 10 saboteurs are and the 5 sages, and how we can move from the pre-programmed thoughts that we have that we've been talking about on the show, and what can you do to change them. I utilized one of the strategies on today's show, and if you want to find out what that is, take the assessment, reach out to me, and I'll tell you about how you can turn to the innovative side of our mind, get into a state of free flow and creativeness through using the PQ process. And I'm going to put that on there for you, Nourhen. You're getting feedback from people that know and love you. So I just want to make sure that you see that. In the meantime, that's it for us on the Business Renovator. I'm going to end the show and look forward to seeing you the next time we're live and talking on the Business Renovator.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.